What is going on, everybody? Smitty from DraftCalc.com here with a late March edition of Fantasy Football Radio. The breaking news today was that Montee Moreno is now a Miami Dolphin. So it's time for the Montee Ball party people to celebrate. And yeah, you know, he was probably going to thrive regardless, but that was the thing that people are waiting for in order to kick that ADP and that trade value up a notch. So congratulations to those of you that followed our upside board predictions back in February, where we threw Montee Ball up on the board at the #1 spot. And now we're going to see his ADP, if I had to guess, climb into the second round. Now, is he worth second round value in redraft and dynasty? I say yes. I mean, the guy is top 1 to 5 overall value, really. Top 1 to 5 running back value for sure. He could finish outside of that, but that's where his ceiling is. And it's a pretty safe ceiling based on the numbers that Montee Moreno produced last year. I believe he ran for roughly 1,000, between 1,000 and 1,100 yards. He had, I think, 12 or 13 total touchdowns, about 60 receptions for 500 to 600 yards. Those are all, just throwing those numbers out off the top of my head, but I believe they're all pretty accurate. Those are the kind of numbers that Ball is going to produce for sure in Denver in 2014, and I think he gets a couple more 100 rushing yards. So that's going to be top 5 running back numbers right there, which is most of the time, in most cases, top 5 to 6 overall value in any draft, especially in point per reception, given that he'll pull in 50 to 60 receptions in that offense. I believe the stat I read today was that Montee Moreno, 79 to almost 80% of his rushes last year were against 6-man fronts or less. That's the kind of defense you see when you have Peyton Manning. Let me kill the music here. Montee is going to see similar defenses in 2014, and his numbers are going to match and actually go above and beyond Moreno's from 2013. So I love the value still, even at a late second round pick. If he starts climbing into the first, I mean, he still could earn it, no question about it. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't even take him that high, but you are crazy to take him higher than his ADP, regardless of how high his ceiling is. So always follow average draft positions. His value is just in the third round. So kind of check out some ADP data before you draft. If you have a draft coming up, get on our forums at draftcalc.com/forums and let's talk about his ADP. If you are unable to wait for fresh data to kind of reset post the Montee Moreno signing in Miami, but absolutely capable of second round value if he does climb there, and then we'll talk about the first round value once we get there, if we get there. Jumping into a couple other sleepers, I'll start with a duo. One of my favorite running back twos heading into this upcoming season is Ray Rice / Bernard Pierce. Now, you have to have both of them given the off-the-field situation that Ray Rice is facing right now. That duo under Kubiak, who really had a big responsibility for making Arian Foster the player he was from a fantasy perspective, he's running this offense, and I think Bernard Pierce and Ray Rice both fit that mold really well. And I think you're going to see one running back, whoever it is, I think will know each week that is fantasy low-end running back 1 type numbers. At the worst case scenario, a running back 2, which is where you're going to kind of buy that whole package. So if you can't get Rice and Pierce at very low-end running back 2 type value as a package, that's the total amount you'd spend value-wise to get the duo secured, then don't buy it. But if you can secure it at that value, and I've even secured both running backs at running back 3, high-end running back 3 or high-end flex value in a couple leagues, and in leagues where I had Bernard Pierce, it made it a lot easier. I got Ray Rice for almost a handout. So depending on your situation, depending on if you already have one of the players, it's a great option to look into, especially if you want to build at other positions via trade, via draft. If you're in a contract league or a keeper league with 3 or 4 players, there's a lot of reasons why this would make sense for your roster. The other sleeper I want to toss out is Tre Mason. He is a player I anticipate winning Rookie of the Year. Of course, situation matters. He could land in an awful spot. But Tre Mason is a player that I think can be shockingly the 1.01 in some drafts later on in the offseason. Right now, everyone's cemented Sammy Watkins in at 1.01, or at least cemented the two receivers, Mike Evans and Sammy Watkins, at the 1.01 and 1.02. And no one's even giving consideration to any of the running backs. And I think that's common, and I don't think it's necessarily a mistake, because the situation does need to kind of unfold for some of these running backs more so than the receivers. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tre Mason or one of the running backs, let's say Carlos Hyde, lands in a great spot. They start taking over that ADP a little bit in the 1.02 range. Tre Mason in a great situation would be the 1.01 for me. And I know I would try and trade down if my gut told me that I would land him at 1.02 because I could get a little bit of value. But in leagues where maybe people are running back starving lineup wise, I wouldn't take a chance. If he lands in the right spot, he's going to be my number one ranked rookie, so I wouldn't mess around if I had that 1.01. A lot of people are going to assume that they're going to land the top running back at the 1.03, and that's, I guess, my point here is don't lock into that thinking, because it might change with the landing spots. The landing spots always change values more than people anticipate when they've locked in certain ideas and rankings early on. Tre Mason has Jamal Charles written all over him, in my opinion. He's even got a stronger lower body than Charles. People kind of consider him a smaller type back, but if you watch him play, and we have some on our rookie rankings and rookie write-ups, you can look at the footage that we've linked to the write-up. He plays like at I think he's 207, 5'9", but he looks and plays like he's 220. Kind of like Ray Rice plays like he's a lot bigger than he is. Tre Mason is going to turn heads if he's in the right spot. So keep an eye on him, an eye on the value of the 1.02 and 1.03 in your Dynasty League. See if you can kind of acquire those at good values. You don't want to sell the farm, getting all excited about this talk right now, and sell the farm and think, oh, I got the next Jamal Charles, I'm willing to pay, high second round value. Don't go doing that, because you're gonna, if you miss on him, or let's say he lands in a bad spot and you were counting on drafting that running back at 1.02, and now you got to go wide receiver, it's gonna screw your plan up. Be smart about it. Play multiple leagues. That's the one medicine that cures all trade addiction. You want to get this certain player, and if you're playing in just one league, you'd almost do anything, and you end up screwing up your team because you're trying to target guys outside of their value, their trade value, and their draft value. Play in multiple leagues. You can't land Mason in every league, but it ups your chances of being able to own a guy like that at the right price. And he will hit a home run for you if he's in the right spot and he stays healthy. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for listening. I will try and get more of these fantasy football radio podcasts out to you. I know you've been requesting more of them in the off season, so I will try and do that. If you aren't on the fantasy football forums, draftcalc.com/forums. We're talking football 365 days. It's as busy on our forums during the months of February, March, April as it is in June, July, and August. Hardcore group of people. Help you with your trade ideas, talk football year-round. Okay, see you next time. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to DraftCalc.com radio.